You're listening to 772 Sports, a local Treasure Coast sports podcast highlighting everything from Little League to the NFL. Here are your hosts, Curtis Carpenter and Mike Higgins. All right, everybody, welcome to episode 17 of the 772 Sports podcast. This is Curtis Carpenter. I'm on the line here with Mike Higgins. Mike, what kind of show do we have for the folks today?
Oh, man, so we're going to talk a little Super Bowl, obviously, right?
Oh, was there the Super Bowl happened? Huh?
There was a game apparently there was a hurricane at the same time.
Oh, because, yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. Yep.
Yeah, so, and it's my favorite time of year. We're past football, and pitchers and catchers are reporting. So I'm excited about a little bit of baseball, and I know you are too.
Very much so. Yep. So I will talk about my my disappointment in the MLB regular season, but yeah. So we got Super Bowl recap, Major League Baseball, high school baseball starting, a little NBA, little NHL, maybe some college basketball, and then of course the Factor Cap. So you ready to go?
Factor Cap, let's ride.
All right. First up, little Treasure Coast chatter. Treasure Coast chatter. All right, this is Treasure Coast Chatter. It's where we talk a little bit about high school sports. The winter sports are over, the spring sports are beginning, and that means it is baseball season. Mike and I, big high school baseball fans.
Yes.
Mostly following Vero and John Carroll. We'll probably have a little Sebastian for you. But have you followed any of this stuff so far, Mike?
Yeah, just kind of in the out. I mean, there hasn't been anything regular season yet. So obviously, I talked to Pomar and Para quite a bit about the John Carroll team, and I have several friends who have kids on the Vero team. So we're just getting ready to get ramped up. So I've been following it, but I don't know. I don't have a lot to report on as far as I know the regular season starts here in the next couple of days. Yeah.
So down at Lawnwood Park, where John Carroll's home stadium is, they have the PBR Preseason Classic, which is always a really, really exciting time for high school baseball in the state of Florida. They get 10 or 12 of the state's best teams out there. Vero's hosted it a couple times.
I know they hosted it last year, right?
They hosted it 2 years ago. Last year it was at Lawnwood. This year it's at Lawnwood. 1 year it was up in like O'Galley or something. So they always seem to do it kind of in this general area, which is great. I have seen some studs out at these PBR preseason classics. I mean, I saw Zach Veen, first round pick for the Rockies. I saw Andy Painter. I saw who else? Edwin Arroyo, who was a second or third round pick. Listen, there's just tons and tons of talent out there. Again, it's like the best 10 teams in the state of Florida, which traditionally yields a high draft picks in the MLB draft. So anyway, I met Manny Ramirez out there. He had a kid that was playing. David Ortiz's kid was playing in a couple years ago. So yeah. So anyway, so if you've got some time, I haven't seen the schedule. I don't know when they're playing. I know that it's now. Yeah, take a look up PBR Preseason Classic. Again, it's at Lawnwood Stadium. And it's going on now. So yeah, definitely check that out if you want to go watch some youth baseball. But I think John Carroll might be participating in it. I'm not even sure. But I
know they're playing. I know they had a game last night. I don't know if it's officially part of that, but they were playing at Lawnwood last night. So
yeah, so I'm sure that they were playing a stud team too, because again, these guys are legit.
I think it was Westminster.
Gotcha. Yeah, stud team.
So
yeah,
definitely.
Cool. Well, anyway, yeah. So baseball season's starting. Again, we don't have much to report on except for that PBR thing. So prep baseball report, not professional bull riders, if you were confused by that. But yeah, that's what the PBR stands for. But anyway, so yeah, Lawnwood, go down there, check it out. And also lacrosse is starting. I don't know anything about it, but lacrosse is starting. They had a game, Vero had a game last night or the night before. Don't know if they won. Yeah, don't really know anything about lacrosse, but
we'll have to get more info on that. I know that us and St. Ed's normally have pretty elite teams.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how all that goes. Are there any other spring sports? Track and field, maybe?
That sounds right. It sounds like it should be track and field season, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, we sound like a couple of experts. All we know is baseball. We know baseball, and that's starting.
We know baseball. We know football.
So yeah, that's it for our high school report. Like we talked about in the intro, we had maybe a big football game last week that we want to cover. You ready to jump on that?
Yeah, we better do it.
All right, let's do it. A little Super Bowl recap. Here we go.
Let's roll.
772 Sports is brought to you by Vero Beach Social Media, your local digital marketing agency. From Facebook advertising to graphic design to podcast production, Vero Beach Social Media has you covered. Contact them today at 772-999-6636 or visit VeroBeachSocialMedia.com. Next up, Chalk Talk. All right, this is Chalk Talk. It's where we discuss the NFL. It will probably be our last Chalk Talk segment for a while because we just watched the Super Bowl, Mike.
Yes, we did.
What was your take?
I loved it. First of all, how was everything at your place? Pretty good?
So we traditionally have a pretty big party at our house. This year we were trying to go all out. I bought a 25-foot inflatable projection screen, and I borrowed a very, very, very expensive projector, and a hurricane decided to come through on Sunday. As far as wind goes, it was gusts of like 40 miles an hour, and we were not able to get the inflatable screen up. So plan B was to project against the side of the house, which we did, and came out amazing. It was really cool. Not as cool as a screen in our lake, but it was cool nonetheless. So
yeah.
All
right, good.
Party went well.
Right, so to the game, what I guess my initial thoughts are Patrick Mahomes is a different kind of animal, huh?
My take is Patrick Mahomes is a Hall of Famer already. He could stop playing football now. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's played, 5 years? 6 years?
Yeah, 5, 6, I think, yeah.
Won 2 Super Bowls, just won MVP this year. This guy's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he is, obviously, if he keeps this up for a few more years, he's in the elite conversation. With Tom Brady's on a whole nother level, but the second-tier guys, the Joe Montanas, the John Elways, the Dan Marinos, the Drew Breeses, those guys, he's almost in that conversation already, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I mean, I would put him there.
I mean, in such a short amount of time.
I've seen enough.
And that team, man, I'm telling you, Andy Reid, is there a better, you're talking about Mahomes, but like, is it possible Andy Reid's one of the best coaches of all time? I mean, is he like a top 5 coach of all time?
Has to be. That's two with Kansas City and 1 with Philly, right? Super Bowls?
He did not win one with Philly. That was Doug Peterson that was the coach there when they won.
After.
But he is the all-time winningest coach in Philadelphia Eagles history, and now he's the all-time winningest coach in Kansas City Chiefs history. With 2 rings to go about it. But, man, talk about a game plan. We talked about this last week, and we talked about how Philly said, listen, we're going to come at them, we're going to come at them, we're going to come at them. And we'll get into the Sodgate thing a little bit into this conversation. But Philly brought it, and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid's scheme and Eric Bieniemy's scheme, man, they ran all over and passed all over. The second best defense in the league. Like, I'd never 38 points, Mike.
I mean, I don't remember calling any of the guys we talked about's name. What was it? We talked about Hassan Reddick. We talked about a few other guys on the Eagles defense, and I really don't remember calling their names.
So
they were neutralized.
The biggest statistic I think that I saw coming out of this game, how many sacks did the Eagles have against Kansas City? Do you know that answer?
They didn't have any, did they?
0 sacks.
Yeah.
Remember, we were talking, oh, they're going to get them a couple of times. They got them 0 times. So let's go to the next part of all this. Sodgate is what they're calling this. This field was like playing on an ice rink. How does that happen, Mike?
It's sad to see that, and I think I saw somewhere that the NFL was getting this field ready for like a year.
I heard it was 2 years.
2 years. That's probably even more.
And like this is supposed to be like the perfect grass to play football on. And I have a feeling that the grass in my backyard would have been a better option. And I just don't understand how that happens.
Yeah, it's just I'm reading some about it now and just I don't see one positive comment.
So there's a whole conspiracy theory rabbit hole you can go down. One is they call this guy the Sod Father. Okay, I can't think of his name. He's 93 years old or something like that. He has had his hand in the turf for every Super Bowl ever, for all 57 Super Bowls. Yeah. And at one point, he worked for the Kansas City Chiefs. And he's from Kansas City, and he says he's a Chiefs fan. And the conspiracy theory rabbit hole is that he knew that shitty sod would hurt a pass rush, and would hurt a quarterback that is known for QB sneaks and Jalen Hurts. And the conspiracy theory, I don't subscribe to this, but what they're saying is that this guy developed this sod specifically so that the pass rush for the Eagles would be affected and Jalen Hurts wouldn't be able to do his QB sneaks. Now, Jalen Hurts was able to do his QB sneaks, and he did a pretty good job of that. But the fact that the Eagles had 0 sacks, listen, Kansas City's line's good, but man, that sod had to have an effect on it.
Yeah, I mean, it had to. It was unbelievable. I'm not buying into the conspiracy theory thing, but it seemed like it's having a problem on both teams. I mean, I didn't see. Both defenses struggled.
So the other argument was, on 38% of pass dropbacks from Patrick Mahomes, a Philadelphia player slipped. And I forget the number, but like 5 or 6 of those times, multiple defensive linemen slipped. The Chiefs only, it was something like 15% of plays that their players slip, and at no point did multiple players slip. And they even showed this during the game. The Eagles were replacing their cleats left and right. Kansas City, nobody was replacing their cleats. So the next question is, did the old sod father, did he give the Chiefs some inside information about, hey, listen, make sure you got some longer spikes on those cleats? I don't know. Again, I don't subscribe to it. It's a very interesting take.
Yeah, I don't. I guess I don't know what side I go on that. I guess.
I got Mike questioning it now. I got Mike thinking that this might have been the fix was in.
I seen a pile of 30 pairs of cleats at one point on the Philadelphia Eagles sideline from everybody changing them. So
yep.
I mean, I don't know, man.
So the sod definitely was the biggest negative, I think, of the game. Another thing that everybody's talking about, and if you didn't watch the game and you live under a rock, was there was a holding penalty late in the game. Just to kind of recap, it was a tie game, 35-35. The Eagles had just scored a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie it. Kansas City comes down. All Kansas City wants to do is run the clock down to 1 second left, kick a field goal, win the game. So it's 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, something like that. There's about 1:45 left. Kansas City throws a pass. It's incomplete. You think, okay, they're going to line up and kick a field goal with 1:45 left. Not so fast. Holding on the defense. And that gave Kansas City a first down. That gave McKinnon the opportunity to do his little slide where he doesn't come in the end zone, and they run the clock down to 12 seconds. They kick the field goal, and essentially the game was over. The holding call.
Yep.
A lot of questions about that. Was it holding? Was it ticky-tacky? Was it the wrong time to make that call? What do you think, Mike?
I mean, I think it was definitely a hold, but I do think it was ticky-tack. I don't know if I would have called it in that situation. It was. I mean, I had seen worse in the game that wasn't called. So
think about the lasting effects of that call. So how I look at it is, it's ticky-tacky. You don't make that call at that time. So if that call doesn't get made, it's 4th and 13. Guy's got to kick a 48-yarder or something like that. He's probably going to make it. Although with the sod, who knows if he slips? Who knows?
Right.
Let's say he makes it. Now, you're giving the Eagles offense and Jalen Hurts about 1:40, something like that, to march down the field and either kick a game-tying field goal or a game-winning touchdown in what essentially might have been the greatest Super Bowl of all time. I mean, this Super Bowl, it had the recipe for being absolutely amazing. It was a very anticlimactic ending. A couple of kneel downs, a kick to end it. Imagine how exciting that would have been had, Jalen Hurts, they're marching down. The guy's got to kick a game-tying field goal. It's 50 or 60 yards, or somehow miraculously a guy gets a touchdown to win it. This ending could have been the greatest Super Bowl of all time, and that holding call kind of negated it.
Yeah.
And that's super unfortunate because it was a fun game. It was a great game, back and forth. Eagles up 10 at halftime. Kansas City comes back. Kansas City did not punt one time in the second half. They scored on every drive. That is wild.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect half. I don't know, man. I seen some people on social media questioning whether or not Patrick Mahomes really had an ankle injury.
Oh, well, he definitely had an ankle injury. I mean, did you see the way his foot bent back the wrong way?
I did. But when he was running, he wouldn't limp at all.
Well, I think
he ran, he would limp.
Yeah, I think the question is, what kind of substance did he get at halftime to account for this bum ankle? And Listen, I don't know if it's Motrin or if it's steroid, but he took something. I mean, there's no way. Motrin. Yeah, I don't think it's Motrin. There's no way that your ankle snaps like that, and then all of a sudden you're able to run for that 30-yard sprint. Which, by the way, I saw like 5 or 6 holds on that. I mean, you go back and you watch that, and you're like, "Yep, there's at least like 5 players being held right now." I'm not, listen, I wanted the Eagles to win, but I'm not that upset about it. I like Mahomes and I like the Chiefs, but the officiating in this game is funny. We talked about this in our Super Bowl preview when we talked about Roger Goodell saying that officiating has never been better, the best it's ever been, or whatever it was. And then you watch that Super Bowl and you're like, yeah, this is trash. These guys are clueless. Something's got to be fixed, man. We say it all the time, but we cannot continue to have games come down to the wire like this where we've got, just ridiculous, inconsistent calls.
Yep.
So what else? What else do you want to talk about in the Super Bowl?
I wasn't impressed with the commercials.
My favorite commercial and the one that got, and again, I'm in marketing, so like I watched, I had seen all the commercials before a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
So I liked Popcorners. That was a good one with Breaking Bad.
That's funny.
That was a good one. But my favorite and the one that everybody's talking about, and actually the only one I didn't see prior to the Super Bowl was the Tubi commercial.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Everybody thought that somebody had the remote, and it was brilliant. But otherwise, yeah, I was underwhelmed by
I didn't see like a good Doritos commercial that you normally get, like a good, Pepsi normally has, Budweiser normally has a good one. None of them stuck out to me like they normally do. So
I could get into this long diatribe about marketing and advertising and all that, but I think advertisers are starting to figure out $7 million for 30 seconds plus production costs ain't really worth it. Right. And you're going to start seeing, I mean, you saw Anheuser-Busch, they gave up their exclusivity in advertising. So you saw Molson Coors, you saw a couple other, I can't remember who owns Corona, but it's anyway, I can't remember who owns them. But anyway, they let other beer advertisers come in and take their 30-second spots because, again, $7 million for 30 seconds. I mean, it's a lot of money, man. I know you're getting 100 million impressions and all that, but it's just the days of Super Bowl advertising. It's getting too expensive. The juice isn't worth the squeeze, as they say. But
no Vero Beach social media commercial next year.
Not for $7 million. Not for $7 million. And the other thing that people don't realize is that a lot of these streaming platforms will offer local ads. So if you're watching the game on YouTube TV, you might see, a local company advertising, which is kind of interesting. So streaming platforms, I think, have like Hulu Live. If you watch it on Hulu Live, you're seeing different commercials. So I think the invention, for lack of better terms, the usage of other platforms other than just watching it on Fox, in addition to just the rising costs, I think you're going to start to see a lack of quality in these commercials. And they're getting in a copycat kind of thing, like dogs and Super Bowl commercials. It's so predictable. Certain celebrities in there, it just becomes predictable at that point. And it's not fun anymore. It's just like, expected. But that Tubi commercial, man, that Tubi was spot on. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome. So yeah, that was good. So did you watch the halftime show?
I did. I enjoyed it. But I like every halftime show. I don't think I've ever seen a Super Bowl halftime show I did not like. So yeah, but I watched it. I enjoyed it. I love Rihanna. Little umbrella.
I didn't really pay much attention to it. I just seen a lot of people talking about it, so I figured I'd ask you. I normally flip over to the Puppy Bowl or something.
Yeah. No, I watched it. It was good. It was just Rihanna. No, nobody else. She had dancers and all that, but no other stars, no other singers sang, I don't know, like 9 or 10 songs.
I saw it just in passing and stuff. So she announced she was pregnant on stage, right?
It wasn't really on stage. I mean, you could tell that she might be pregnant. You're looking at her like, I haven't seen this chick in a few years, but I don't remember her being, for lack of better terms, this big. And then pregnant, I think it was,
or she's had a few beers.
Right. Yeah, she looked like me up there. So yeah, I think it was her agent afterward said, announced that she was pregnant. So yeah. again, it wasn't like she was on stage and saying, bitch better have my money, and it was like, and I'm pregnant. It wasn't like that. She, I think it was her agent that released it like in the third quarter at some point. She tweeted it or something. But yeah, she was pregnant doing that. Which again, you're used to these artists doing, crazy acrobats and all that. And she was on a platform, an elevated platform, which was kind of cool.
That was been sick, I think.
Yeah, but she wasn't doing backflips. Let's put it that way. And now you understand why.
Yeah.
But no, I enjoyed it. I like, again, I like Rihanna. I like all of her songs. It is kind of funny when I listen to these people. Oh, it was so boring. It's like, grow creativity. Come on, like stop being, stop being an old curmudgeon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch enough of that stuff to really know if it was good or bad. I know that for me, growing up, I'm 42, so I grew up on Snoop and Eminem and Dr. Dre. So seeing them last year was probably the best Super Bowl halftime I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, it was my favorite too. We're about the same age, so that was my favorite too because I did know every song. But I mean, I knew at least half of these Rihanna songs, and it was cool, and the dancers were entertaining, and I mean, I think people just like to complain. You know what I mean?
I think so too.
Seriously, I don't think there's a single halftime show that I ever watched I didn't like. Where I was like, oh, that sucked.
The old guy rocking on the front porch complaining about everything.
Right. Get off my lawn.
Telling the kids to get off my ground.
Right. Like, what did you expect? Yeah.
Okay, so just super way earliest too early thing ever. Who do you have for the 2 Super Bowl teams next year?
I think Kansas City's got to be in the conversation. Buffalo's window, I don't know. Is Buffalo's window closing? Cincinnati again. All right. So we talked about this last time. I had a big 3 in the AFC: Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Kansas City. I think it's safe to say I've got those same 3. I don't see any other AFC team really making a big move into that top 3. So I'll say one of those 3, and then in the NFC. The 49ers, it's kind of interesting because, well, first of all, the Eagles have like 20 free agents. Okay, so I don't know what's going to happen with them. The 49ers have a quarterback issue to figure out, Purdy and Garoppolo and Trey Lance and all. They got to hash that out, but the defense, I think, is going to be solid regardless.
Absolutely.
So I would say probably San Francisco, and I'll say San Francisco and Kansas City. If I got to pick 2 teams with a gun to my head, that's what I got. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that. I think I'd agree with that right now. Okay. We have to see what moves get made, but I'm interested because there's been some rumblings of the Dolphins trying to find a way to get Lamar Jackson.
That would be interesting. I'd like to see that. Sure. I don't know if that elevates them to the top 3, but it definitely gets them in the conversation about.
But it gets them on the cusp.
Well, and here's how it works, right? I mean, this year was kind of an anomaly because 2 number 1 seeds made it, but traditionally, you get in the playoffs, it's a crapshoot. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, Jacksonville could have made it. You know what I mean? They got hot at the right time. They just, they ran out of steam. But, I mean, you get in the playoffs. Who knows?
I'm going to try to predict. I'm not going to predict it now. Closer to the season, who's going to be the team you're going to pick every game next year? Because this year it was Buffalo.
Yeah, it was Buffalo this year.
You stuck to your guns.
Well, Kansas City's got the hot hand. I'd probably say Kansas City now. Again, I just watched them put 38 up against the second best defense in the league, and I don't know who they're losing. They lost Tyreek Hill and won the Super Bowl. So, I don't know.
That's crazy.
I'll say Kansas City's going to win every week next year. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
And last year you had the Giants losing every year, so we'll have to figure out.
That's right. They're not losing every game
week,
this year.
Every week.
Yeah, they're not going to lose every game this year. Dable's done a good job. Danny Dimes is. They're a solid team, and they play in a division that's kind of intriguing. I mean, I don't know if Dallas is all that good. You got Washington in there. I don't know. Philly, who's just in the Super Bowl. So, I don't know what's going to happen with the Giants next year. But we got a long way to go.
We do.
Was there anything else about the Super Bowl that you wanted to cover?
Nothing that I can. Did you hit any of your big prop bets? I guess I should ask that.
No, but you're going to laugh. I actually did not play any prop bets. I didn't play a single one. I didn't win a square. I lost. I didn't hit a single square. I won nothing. I lost a lot of money in throwing a big party. That's it. But it was a lot of fun. That's it. So
will the bar be back next year?
Bar was the talk of the party. Everybody said I got to bring the bar back next year. So Bar Vero Services is a local company here. Provide amazing bar services. It was great. And yeah, everybody was like, hey, listen, big screen's cool, food's cool, whatever, all this is cool, but this bar is where it's at. So big hit.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love
man.
it.
Yeah. So that's it. You want to talk a little baseball, pitchers and catchers?
Yeah, you know that I do.
All right, let's do it. Here we
Let's
go.
roll.
Around the Horn. All right, we are back with Around the Horn. I think we've had a couple of shows where that was absent from our podcast, but Around the Horn's our Major League Baseball talk. And Mike, pitchers and catchers have reported.
All is right in the world.
Yeah, man. Hope springs eternal, and I love that we're watching baseball again, man. We're hearing about it. Jacob deGrom's already out with injury. I mean, it's just like it's just like old times.
I saw he didn't pitch the other day because it was cold or something.
They said he had like oblique soreness or something yesterday. I'm like, you've been off for 6 months, man. Like, what are you doing?
Unbelievable.
Signed a big deal with Texas and nothing.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I don't know. I don't know if I can say that I'm glad the Dodgers didn't make a move on that, but.
Well, I mean, the thing that people forget, Jacob deGrom is 6 months younger than Clayton Kershaw. And that is just this wild thing that I can't wrap my head around, is that everybody looks at Clayton Kershaw and thinks, oh my God, this old guy's got to retire. And then Jacob deGrom goes out and gets this massive contract from Texas. And it's like, wait, these are the same guy, and deGrom's always hurt. I'm like, I'd rather have Kershaw. So yeah, I'm definitely glad that we didn't go after him. We'll see. I mean, listen, it could have just been cold and windy or whatever, and they said we don't want to throw him. But there was definitely something about a strain or soreness or something like that just had me scratching my head. Like, this is day one. What is going on here?
Yeah.
But yeah, what else?
Yeah.
I saw a tweet from John Heyman. Shout out Fort Pierce, Florida. He said something to the effect of, spring training isn't as glorious as it looks. Here's a day's in that I'm staying in Fort Pierce, Florida, and it looked like a dump. And I'm like, first of all, why are you staying in Fort Pierce? There are no teams there.
Yeah.
Again, I'm wondering if he's covering the PBR preseason classic, or if he's going down to Port St. Lucie or whatever. But I'm like, there's plenty of hotels right next to Tradition Field that you could. Or it's not Tradition anymore, but wherever the Mets play.
Clover
Park. Yeah. Like, why aren't you down there? But Fort Pierce getting a little national attention thanks to their shitty hotels.
Yeah.
So,
jeez, I wouldn't stay there either.
No way.
I think I know the one he's talking about.
So what else do we have on the horizon for baseball now that spring training's here?
I love it, man. Actually, we get to crank up action a little bit quicker this year because we have the World Baseball Classic too.
That's right.
Which I love, anything representing countries. I think that's really cool. A couple things I'm excited about. I saw Mookie Betts put on like 10 pounds of muscle this offseason.
Yeah. Maybe a few more home runs.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
That's for his bowling game. It's for his bowling. He's trying to get more pin action. Yeah,
he's got 7 pounds of muscle in one arm from bowling.
That's right.
So what are you excited to see? I mean,
so I've got a gripe. I've got complaints, and you're going to hear about them.
The old man on the front porch.
I have yet to get over the fact that everybody makes the playoffs, and we play 162 games, and really they're irrelevant. And I got 6 months of watching spring training baseball. I mean, listen, you win the division, then you have 3 wild card teams. It's become basketball where, like, the regular season to me has pretty much become irrelevant. And then, again, last year, I'm still butthurt about this. We beat a team by 20 games in the season, and then we had to play them in a 5-game set. Like, so I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. I love baseball. It's my favorite sport. I'm just not as excited as I normally am. And that hurts my heart. Because I love the game. I love the game, but
once we get closer, I think you'll get there.
Probably. But yeah, right now, I mean, normally like the day pitchers and catchers report, man, I'm all over it. I'm watching MLB Network. And I'm just like not into it this year, man. I don't know. And again, it's solely because you could have the stellar regular season and it doesn't mean anything. So, it's almost like I want the Dodgers to sneak in. Does that make sense? Like I almost want him to go like 90 and 72 and sneak in and, you know, go play the Mets who are going to win 105 games in a 5-game set and then beat them. And it's like, yeah, haha, you spent all this money, you know, you did all this and that, but really, again, we talked about it in football. In the playoffs, it's a crapshoot, especially when it's a 5-game set. I mean, that's ridiculous. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm excited, but not as excited as I normally am.
Yeah, so where are you at with them changing the base size and all that stuff?
The base size thing is overblown. It's 2 inches. Nobody cares. Yeah. It's not a big deal. People, you know, again, they'll complain about anything. I don't really care about that. Pitch clock thing, I'm interested in seeing how that plays out. I'm holding reservation right now. Again, I think that my general thought is we won't even notice it. Because they've had it in minor leagues. I've never noticed it in the minor leagues. Never crossed my mind. But yeah, it's definitely the talk of spring training so far is how these changes are going to affect the game. Again, base size, it's 2 inches on 90 feet. I mean, it's not. It's negligible.
Right.
And the pitch clock thing, I think 99% of pitches are traditionally thrown within the 30-second or 15-second time limit that you're given anyway. So there might be 10 instances this year where a ball is called because a guy didn't throw fast enough, you know, or
five of them will be Johnny Cueto.
Yeah. Well, did you see who's the guy for Houston that rocks the baby? Was it Javier?
Oh yeah. Is it no? Is it Valdez?
Valdez. It is Valdez, and he does this little rock thing. So and again, I didn't read anything about this. I just saw that he's not allowed to do this anymore. So are they cracking down on balks, or is there a change to the balk rule?
Yeah, I didn't see exactly what it was, but there's been an adjustment to the balk rule. I saw the same thing. I didn't read much into it. Just the headline said,
"Yeah,
no more doing this."
Yeah, so you know, we'll see how that affects some of these guys that really get animated, you know, while they're in the stretch. I think these are such minor change. You know, the biggest thing is like starting with a guy on second in extra innings. That's freaking huge. I mean that is a wild change to the game. But a 2-inch increase in second base or whatever, or you know, that we're actually timing pitchers how quickly they get the ball and throw it. I think those are negligible. I don't think we're going to see much of a change in anything.
Yeah. So as far as World Baseball Classic, have you noticed the rosters? Did you notice USA's roster? Do you like it?
I saw USA's roster. I love the position players we have. I think the pitching might be a tad weak.
Yep.
But
they just lost Nestor Cortez too.
Yeah, I read something about that. Were the Yankees not letting him play, or was he not?
No, he got hurt. He got dinged up.
Okay.
He hurt his quad like on the first day of pitchers and catchers.
Gotcha. I thought I had read something that like the Yankees weren't letting him, or the fact that he was born in Cuba or something. I don't know. I thought it was something other than injury. But yeah, I mean that really hurts the USA. I mean, he's arguably the best pitcher on that staff.
I would have said he's definitely the best starter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so for pitchers, we have Jason Adam, who I really don't even know.
Yeah. I mean,
I know of him, but Daniel Bard, David Bednar, Kendall Graveman, Merrill Kelly, Clayton Kershaw, Lance Lynn, Miles Michaelis, Ottavino, Ryan Presley, who's nasty, Brooks Raley, Brady Singer, Adam Wainwright, Devin Williams.
Yeah.
Pretty good bullpen, I think.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you get a lead in the 5th or 6th, you know, you could start throwing some of those other arms in there, but I mean, who's going to beat the Dominican Republic right now? I mean, that roster is so stacked.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe the only team that can is possibly the USA.
I haven't seen Puerto Rico's roster. They're traditionally pretty good.
Let me look. Let's see. Catchers, they have Martin Maldonado as their main one, and then Christian Vasquez.
Okay.
Infielders, they have Javier Baez, Edwin Diaz, Kike Hernandez, Francisco Lindor, Female Machine, who I've never heard of. I've heard of him, but I've never seen him. Jose Miranda, Emmanuel Rivera. So that's not super impressive. I mean, I like Lindor. Baez is good. Outfield, Henry Ramos, Eddie Rosario, and Nelson Velasquez.
Yeah, that's not going to compete with the DR. Pull up Dominican Republic's roster.
I will. Notable pitchers: Barrios, Marcus Stroman decided to pitch for Puerto Rico this year.
Which is weird because wasn't he with U.S.?
He was with the USA winning team 2 years
ago. And that's also weird to me.
4 years ago.
Puerto Rico has its own team. They're the United States.
I know.
Yeah, so that would be like if Florida had its own team. Like, wait a minute, we already have a U.S. team.
And then Edwin Diaz is in that bullpen too, so that's nice. Okay, let me see.
Yeah, I think Dominican Republic's team is just ridiculous.
If I remember the roster, they're in the same bracket as Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So how's it work? The top 2 teams come out. Is it like the World Cup?
Yeah. So let's see. Catchers, Francisco Mejia and Gary Sanchez. That's average. Infielders, Willie Adames, Robinson Cano, Rafael Devers, Wander Franco, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Manny Machado, Ketel Marte, Jeremy Pena, Gene Segura, and Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, like who's sitting? I mean, you just rattled off like 6 all-stars just for their infield.
Outfielders, Teoscar Hernandez, Eloy Jimenez, Julio Rodriguez, and Soto. That's disgusting.
Yeah. And go through their starting rotation.
Starting the pitchers, Abreu, Alcantara.
The NL Cy Young Award winner. All right, keep going.
Yep. Genesis Cabrera, Diego Castillo, Roani Contreras, Johnny Cueto, Anye De Los Santos, Camila Duvall, Carlos Estevez, Jarlin Garcia. Dude, they have way more pitchers than we do.
Yeah.
Garcia, Yaimi. I'm only halfway done.
Jeez.
Yaimi Garcia, Christian Javier, Jose Leclerc, Rafael Montero, Hector Neris, Joel Pampas, Gregory Soto, and Cesar Valdez.
All right, so their starting rota's not stellar.
No.
I mean, they do have Alcantara, who's amazing. Yeah. And then they have a pretty good bullpen. But the starting lineup is going to be sick. I mean, 1 through 9. Where's the hole? Gary Sanchez.
Well, let me I got one more. Let's just do I want to do Team USA's. I think Team USA probably has the best outfield. What
do they have? Trout, Betts, and
Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, Kyle Tucker.
Oh yeah,
Cedric Mullins. I thought
I'll take Tucker over Mullins.
I thought Bryce Harper was playing.
Oh yeah, I thought so too.
Though Bryce Harper's elbow surgery. Okay, so he's not going to be able to play.
Man, could you imagine Harper, Betts, and Trout? I mean, probably the 3 best outfielders in the league.
I still like Trout, Betts, and Kyle Tucker, though.
Did you hear Mookie Betts say one of the reasons why he's playing is because he wants to play in the outfield with Mike Trout?
Yep.
Yeah,
same outfield as
kind of cool. He's like, yeah, we never get to play each other or with each other. And now that we're in different leagues and not even in the All-Star game do I get to play with this guy. So I'm excited about playing in the same outfield as Mike Trout, which is really cool. Yep. I mean, it's an interesting thought.
Yeah. And then for catchers, we have Realmuto and Will Smith.
Yeah, I would argue, and I know I won't get a lot of agreement, but I think they are the 2 best catchers in Major League Baseball.
You're going to agree with me.
Yeah.
And I'd say I like Will Smith over Realmuto, not just because he's a Dodger. So
I don't know. I mean, I think Realmuto, I think he's got the fastest pop time in the MLB, and he can hit. But Will Smith is not far behind. I'll take Realmuto over Smith, but I like Smith's youth and his ceiling, and trust me, I love Will Smith. I mean, again, I think he's second best catcher in baseball. So,
and then for infielders, I assume Pete Alonso is going to DH.
As Goldschmidt,
Tim.
Yep.
Tim Anderson, Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, Trey Turner, Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, I mean that's a stud infield.
That's solid, man. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. So we'll see how it shakes out. Again, I got DR winning the whole thing. United States is going to be in the mix. Puerto Rico was a little light. Not exactly what I was expecting out of them, but the World Baseball Classic is going to be a blast. I love it.
Is Urias pitching for Mexico?
Yeah, probably. But what are they going to have? 3 guys?
Austin Barnes is playing for Mexico.
What?
Austin Barnes is playing for Mexico.
Austin Barnes is wider than me.
That's
like how's he playing for Mexico?
Alejandro Kirk.
Well, yeah, Alejandro Kirk is Mexican, but is Austin Barnes Mexican?
I don't know. There must be some.
There's got to be a connection there somehow. I mean, he lives kind of close to Mexico, but that's about all I can think of. That is crazy.
Okay, so they have Jonathan Aranda, Meneses, Isaac Paredes, Rowdy Tellez, Alan Trejo, Luis Urias, Robert Venezuela, so nothing really on the infield. Outfield, Randy Arozarena is very good.
Which is funny because he's Cuban, but he defected through Mexico.
Yep. Oh, and Alex Verdugo's playing, so that's nice.
Oh, that'd be cool. We'll have a little
and
Doogie.
I just want to see if your Quiddy's pitching, Adrian Martinez, Taiwan Walker's pitching for Mexico.
Oh, it's interesting.
So
again, they're middle of the pack. They're
Yeah. Oh yeah, Julio Urias. There he is. So they got their ace.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, again,
that'll be fun.
Yeah, watching Urias against Alcantara on the DR will be that'll be a fun game to watch. But
that will be fun.
And I'll probably root for Mexico in that game. I'll root for the Dodgers when they're in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially since Austin Barnes is catching for Mexico, which is it's crazy to me. But yeah. So yeah, exciting times. Again, spring training is here. I don't know when the games got to start next week.
Yeah, next week. I don't remember the date. Let me see.
I'm sure all the dates are a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're all a couple days off. It looks like next Friday there's games. Looks like next Friday is the first day of games.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
All right. Anything else about baseball?
No,
chat about?
There's nothing really to talk about. I think as we get closer, we'll get more.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, you ready for some college basketball?
Let's do it.
February Madness.
February Madness is time.
All right, here we go. 772 Sports is brought to you by the Higgins Home Group. Let the tag team of Mike and Vicky Higgins help you either find your dream home or sell your current home for top dollar. The Higgins Home Group is one of Dale Sorensen Real Estate's premier real estate teams. Give them a call at 772-532-8148. Babblin Buckets. All right, this is all Babblin Buckets. We're talking college basketball. It's only the second time we've done this. Again, we chat all the time about how we have all the other things going on, and then about this time of year is really when college basketball starts to take off. A little preview for March Madness. I call it February Madness. It's conference play. Got a lot of stuff going on with sorry that my computer the sound came on, and that kind of scared me a little bit.
I was freaking out. I'm like, is that me?
No, it was me. It was me. I was ruining it. Yeah, so basically, we've got some shakeups in the rankings. Number one doesn't ever seem to be number one for too long.
No, and they lost this week, right?
Yeah, so for those of you that don't really follow, Tennessee beat Alabama, who was number one. But just before that, the number one team lost. I don't remember who it was, but
it was Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue lost. Let's see, they beat Iowa, and then they lost to Northwestern. So yeah, the number one team, it's like a curse to be number one right now. Which Alabama technically is still number one until the new rankings come out. They'll drop, but then also Purdue lost last night. Didn't they lose last night? Yeah, they lost to Maryland last night.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Will UCLA be number one? It's just this revolving door.
I don't know, man. But I love this time of year. It's so fun.
Yeah. Also, in local news, Florida Atlantic lost last night to Middle Tennessee. Florida Atlantic was number 25. They're 24-3. So I mean, shoot, they could make a little run.
They're going to drop out of the rankings, aren't they?
Yeah, but again, they're 14-2 in their conference. They're 24-3 overall. I mean, they're gonna get a decent seed, depending on how they do in the CUSA tournament. When are the conference tournaments? That's got to be coming up.
They start.
Is it next week or week after?
It's got to be. Hang on one second. Let me look this up.
No, it's in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks away.
Because March Madness starts March 16th is the first. Actually, the 14th and 15th are those play-in games, and then March 16th. So yeah, we've still got a few weeks before.
Yeah, Miami still has a game. Miami has a game in March 4th, and then right after that, the.
Yeah, so I think March 6th, March 5th or the 6th. March 6th is when conference tournament starts. So that's really when that's when I get my head buried into this stuff. ACC I really get into. I know Mike does too. I'm a Florida State guy. Mike's a Miami guy. Florida State will not do well in this. Miami might. And then so again, if you don't understand how it works, if you win your conference, and there are a ton of conferences, if you win your conference, you get an automatic bid. If you don't win your conference, you need what's called an at-large, and that just means, hey, you were a really good team. You just happen to lose in your tournament, and here's your invitation. So that's how teams like, if Alabama and Tennessee, number 1 and number 10, only one of those is going to win their conference. So the other one will get an at-large bid. But if you're in like the CUSA and you got Florida Atlantic, they might get in an at-large, but another team in the CUSA, if they don't win their conference, they're not going to get in. So you get these smaller schools like Pepperdine, and you get these tiny schools in these small conferences that get in. St.
Mary's.
Yeah, and that's how you see these Cinderella teams come about is, traditionally they're just not very good. They play crappy teams. They're in small schools, but then all of a sudden they get in this tournament and they make a run as a 12, 13, 14 seed, and it gets really exciting. So
example of that would be the Big West Conference. So it's totally opposite of football, right? There's like a million of these basketball conferences, and they all get to the dance.
Right.
So the Big West Conference has UC Santa Barbara Gauchos.
Right.
They're 11-3, 20-5 overall. They're not ranked. I mean, they're going to win their division, and it's going to take somebody in that division is going to win, and it's going to take somebody from a big conference out.
Right. Exactly. So there's kind of a complaint there that I think you can make if you're one of the, if you're like for instance, like right now, North Carolina, like they're not very good. They're in the ACC, but they're better than UC Santa Barbara,
Right.
But they're going to get in because they win their conference, and North Carolina is not going to get in, or whoever. I mean, again, I'm giving probably a poor analogy because North Carolina really is not very good this year. But you get what I'm saying. I mean, a big basketball school that actually isn't that bad is going to get their spot taken from probably a very bad conference winner.
Right. Yeah, it's fun though, and I would not change anything about the way they run this. I get the complaint from the bubble teams that play in the bigger conferences, but I wouldn't change anything. I love the Cinderella story. I don't know.
It's just fun because it's one game, and you never know what can happen. And listen, college basketball is different than the NBA in a couple of ways. Number one, you play 2 halves, not 4 quarters. Those 2 halves are only 20 minutes. So you got 40 minutes where if you can compete and get a couple of bounces to go your way, I mean, it's not. It happens every year where a 12 beats a 5, and usually it happens a couple of times. You see 13s beating 3s. You see 14s beating, I got that screwed up. You've got 12s beating 5s, 13s beating 4s. Every now and then 14 beating a 3. I mean, we saw 15 beat a 2 once. It can happen. It can have, the higher seed might just have an off night. And again, it's not a best of 3 or a best of 5 or a best of 7. It's a best of 40 minutes. And yeah, man, it's exciting. It is madness. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I know you are. Again, right now I'm not super knowledgeable on exactly what's going on in college basketball, but once March 6th hits and we got conference tourneys going on and Selection Sunday and all that, we'll be really hyper tuned in.
Yeah, I mean, I tune, obviously I tune into all the Miami games and kind of the stuff that has stuff to do with them. So a bunch of the ACC games, like Virginia's really good. Clemson's really solid. Miami's good. They had a really good game against North Carolina, man. I don't know how North Carolina's not better. I don't know how they've lost so many games.
I actually was watching that the other night. North Carolina was hanging in with Miami, but Miami beat them. But it was like less than a 10-point game most of the game.
It was wild. But so some good basketball. Do you want me to go over kind of what's coming up with as far as games coming up this weekend that are good?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's point some out. There's nothing today that's really anything ranked, but tomorrow there's a bunch. So Notre Dame plays Virginia. That'll be a solid game. Tennessee plays Kentucky, so watch out for that game. I think Kentucky can sneak up on you. They're 17-9, but they might give Tennessee a little trouble. Ranked versus ranked, Iowa State versus Kansas State. That'll be some good. Wake Forest plays Miami in Miami. Top 10 matchup, Baylor versus Kansas. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to watch that. That's at 4 o'clock.
And then Tuesday the 21st, Baylor plays Kansas State, which is another ranked team. So they got back-to-back on some tough.
Yeah. That's a tough part of the schedule.
Yeah, for sure.
So got some good basketball coming up. We're gonna, you and I know you and I will get dialed into this more as we go. So I'm excited. One of
Awesome.
my favorite times of year. Let's look, since we're both ACC fans. Let's just check the standings and see where we're at. I think Virginia's still in first, or maybe second. Clemson was up there for a while. Let's see. ACC's. Oh, Pitt's in first. Pitt, Virginia, Miami all have 12 conference wins. And then Clemson has 11. NC State has 10.
But again, all this really matters for is seeding in the conference tourney, right? I mean,
right.
So you could be the best team in the ACC. All that means you're going to be a 1 seed. You're still going to have to go through the gauntlet.
Yeah. I mean, the seeding, but the seeding in the conference tournaments matter because I think the top 2 teams in the conference tournament get double bye.
Gotcha.
At least for the ACC. So I think maybe the bottom 2 teams drop off, and then it's everybody else makes it for the conference tournament.
Yeah, I don't think Louisville's going to be making it this year.
No,
they're not good.
3-23 overall.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, next week we should have a clearer picture of how we're going to be starting to look. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, do you want to jump from the amateurs to the pros? Little NBA talk.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Double Drivel. All right, folks, this is Double Drivel. It is our NBA segment where we talk all things pro basketball, specifically the NBA. Again, we are still in the middle of the season. What's going on, Mike? What's happening in the NBA right now that's noteworthy?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm most excited about, because I'm not super excited about my Heat right now, is I'm excited to see the Kyrie Irving move with Luka.
Yeah. Again, we haven't talked NBA in a while. Again, LeBron James passed the all-time point score. He's got the scoring title now for all time. So yes. we kind of discussed that a little bit in the last segment. But the other big news is Kyrie Irving getting traded to the Dallas Mavs. He's playing with Luka Doncic, who is arguably a top 3 player in the NBA right now. So, yeah, we'll see what those two guys can do together. Go
ahead.
I was just going to say,
thinking out loud.
I don't think it will go well for Dallas with those two there, but I could be wrong. I think Luka's going to lose a lot of shot attempts. I think, Kyrie is like a black hole. Once the ball gets into him, it doesn't come back out. So they've got 2 prolific scorers, but only 1 basketball. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I don't think it's a great move for Dallas.
What about KD to the Suns?
KD to the Suns, huge, and I think that does make them better. I think KD is a tremendous ball player. I think that they have room for a guy like KD, whereas Dallas, I don't know if they had room for Kyrie because Luka was there. But Phoenix, solid team that I think just got better with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Probably a better move for the who was it? Phoenix.
Brooklyn. Well, Phoenix or
Brooklyn to Phoenix. Yeah. Brooklyn to Phoenix.
Yeah. So Brooklyn, although all that being said, Brooklyn got a haul for Kevin Durant. And again, I'm not saying it's really not warranted, but didn't they get like 4 number 1 picks?
Yeah.
and some players that's insane, man. But yeah, I mean, Phoenix definitely put themselves in contention now. It was kind of like the Denver show out west, and I think Phoenix is going to be able to give them a run. We'll see what it looks like.
Well, they've jumped from 12 to 6 in the power rankings on ESPN. So
yeah, and they were kind of floating around that. Right now they're the 5 seed out west. We'll see kind of what happens, but let's be real. I mean, Denver is just with Nikola Jokic is just straight dominating. Unbelievably good. And between them and the Celtics and maybe the Bucks, I don't know, man. Again, in the AFC for football, we had the big 3. I think in the NBA, we've got the big 3. They're actually, I mean, they are the only 3 teams with 40 wins right now. Listen, Philly, honorable mention, Philly, Cleveland, Memphis, but yeah, really
4 of the 5. I think 4 of the 5 top teams in the power rankings are all Eastern Conference.
Well, Philly's very good. I'm not trying to knock them, but Philly's a good squad. And we talked about Cleveland, how surprised we were, but then you sit and you look at the roster and you're like, actually, Cleveland's pretty good. I see that.
Yeah. Donovan Mitchell he's a stud, man. He's a superstar. He's definitely one that could carry them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, again, Memphis is kind of keeps floating around where they are. We'll see, man. I'm most intrigued to, like you said, see about Doncic and Kyrie Irving. I just want to see how they can coexist. You think it's not going to go good. I think it'll be pretty good, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, right now, Phoenix is 32-28. Dallas is 31-29. I'll make a bet right now if you want that Phoenix finishes the season more than one game better than Dallas. Because that's kind of our litmus test, right? Like, which deal was better? Phoenix getting 31. KD or Dallas getting Kyrie?
So they're only a game apart?
They're a game apart right now. Phoenix is up a game.
Okay.
I think Phoenix will finish more than one game better than Dallas by the end of the year.
Let's do it, bro. I already owe you a lunch. I can't go double or nothing.
Oh, here we go. Double or nothing.
Double or nothing lunch bet.
Yeah. All right.
I'm in.
All right. What else?
Take Dallas. You take Phoenix.
What else do we have for the NBA right now?
There's nothing that's really standing out. I mean, do you want to go over some games that are coming up? There's
Sure.
some good games coming.
Yeah, take a look at the schedule. Let us know what to watch.
Let's see. I am gonna watch. Do you have your NBA up?
I do.
Am I reading it right that there's not one NBA game today?
There are. We have the All-Star game coming up.
Oh, did we hit the All-Star break yesterday?
Yeah,
no
February Sunday is the All-Star game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so Friday, Saturday we have the All-Star game Sunday. Then we have 3 days off, and then Thursday match back up.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're in the All-Star break now.
Yep.
I did not realize watching last night that this was so for me. And I've never watched the hockey one, so but of all the sports, I love the NBA All-Star Weekend the best.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, you have the dunk contest, the 3-point contest, all that'll be Saturday, and then Sunday at 7:30, we'll get the All-Star game. It's Team Giannis and Team LeBron, and I believe they're this year they're drafting the players right before tip-off. So like you don't even know. Yeah. So you won't even know who is playing on which team until right before the game, which is it's an interesting twist. I kind of like it.
Okay, so wait a second. Mac McClung. Okay, so the slam dunk competition.
Yes.
Let's see. Kenyon Martin Jr., Trey Murphy III, Mac McClung, and Jericho Sims. Who are we going to take to win that? We got an early favorite here?
No idea. No clue. And here's my old man grumpiness is I haven't thoroughly enjoyed a dunk contest since Vince Carter, 20 years ago. So I'll watch it. And,
what a dunk contest that was.
Oh my God. Yeah. But I mean, the creativity, I feel like I've seen all the dunks.
Yeah.
So it's fun and the players get into it and all that. But I saw Blake Griffin jump over a car. Come on.
A Kia.
He jumped over a Kia for crying out loud.
It's like half a car.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I mean, what else? What else can you pull out there? You know what I mean? Are you gonna bring the scorers table out and dunk off of Charles Barkley's head or something? I don't know. I mean,
I've seen him jump over people. I've seen him jump over different things. Yeah, I don't know. Unless somebody. I mean, what about fire? Can they put fire on the court and jump over something on fire?
That would be kind of neat. Jump through a hula hoop on fire, do a somersault, and dunk the ball.
Yeah, I'd
or
watch
something.
that.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen with the dunk contest this year.
All right, fine. Then let's do a 3-point competition.
That's fun. Is Steph in it?
Tyrese Halliburton, nope. Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Kevin Huerter, Damian Lillard, Laurice Markkanen, and Anthony Simmons and Jason Tatum.
All right, I'd take Halliburton in that run.
I'm gonna take Hero just
because he's a Heat player. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Total homer pick.
All right.
But yeah, that'll be fun. Let's see. And then when they come back, they only have 20 games left. So, yeah, I'm excited about the second. I guess it's not even the second half. It's the second, third. the third. They did. I didn't realize they did their. Did they always do their All-Star game so late too?
I think it used to be like halfway through, and then I think them and the NHL were kind of like on the same weekend for a while. So I think the NBA pushed it back.
I think players may like that a little more too. Like a little rest before you get to the playoff run.
I'm always a fan. Baseball does this too. Everybody thinks baseball is like right at the halfway point, but it's actually at like the 90, 95 game mark, which I like. I like pushing it back a little bit. Yeah. Again, you get your rest. I mean, again, the NBA breaks a long time. I mean, I don't know. It's like 7 days.
You said they don't play till next Thursday?
Something like that. So there's no game tonight. Today's Friday, right?
Yep.
Then nothing Saturday. That's 2. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's 6. And then no games Thursday, I don't think.
Let me check.
Yeah, Thursday. So, yeah, they have like 6 days. Yeah. So
Nuggets.
It's a big break.
Nuggets Cavs right out of the break.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that'll be fun for sure.
Grizzly 76ers.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
That's a good one.
The Thursday the 23rd is the night we're gonna want multiple televisions.
Yes.
7 and 7:30.
Warriors Lakers to see who's gonna get the 15th seed.
Right. Pretty much. Yeah.
Kings Trailblazers too that night. All right, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to the All-Star break. I don't have much else. So unless you have something.
Nada. I'm ready to talk hockey.
Ooh, I'm ready.
Your favorite.
I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. A little hockey talk. Power play. All right, folks, this is Power Play. It's our NHL talk. It's Mike's favorite. He absolutely loves the NHL, watches every game. If you're not a chronic listener, you know that's a joke. Mike knows nothing about hockey, very little.
Nothing.
I know slightly more than him, but still not very much. But we do like to kind of keep tabs on what's going on in the NHL. And again, if you're a chronic listener, you know that I follow the New York Rangers, and they made a big trade last week, Mike. And it's worked out. Vladimir Tarasenko is now a Ranger, and he is playing fantastic. Rangers looking really good lately, So
huge.
I'm stoked. We've won 6 in a row or something. Play tonight against the Oilers, and I'm excited, Mike. I think we got a shot this year. We were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. We got a shot this year now with Tarasenko and. The way the team's playing, man, I am excited.
This is the first time I've heard this much excitement in your voice this year when we're talking hockey. So,
well, because the Rangers have played probably below their standard, and now they're playing way above. And yeah, man, I'm just stoked. I think I like where they're at this point in the season.
So 72 points, third in their division. How many games do they have left? They play
82 games, just like basketball. So, yeah, they got pulling it up now. So they've played 46. They're a little more than halfway through.
They played what did they play? 54, right?
They've played 54. Yeah.
54, yeah.
Yeah. So and they play 82 total. So 28 more. No, 28 more. 28 more. So we're getting there, Mike.
All right. We're in the stretch run here.
Yeah. Boston is still unequivocally the best team in the league. But yeah, and then I guess Carolina's number 2 in the power rankings. I don't think I can disagree with that. But I'd put the Rangers at 4 or 5, man. They're there.
That's not what the power rankings have.
Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about.
They have them at 8.
8? No respect.
8.
They get no respect. The Rodney Dangerfield of the NHL. No respect.
Oh, but let's not go overboard. Let's see. Yes, the Rangers' recent trade for Vladimir Tarasenko has been so stunningly successful.
See?
It almost ended. Yeah, that's good, huh?
See? Yeah. Tarasenko, man, he's a goal scorer. And that's what the Rangers need.
They got it for a second and third round pick. That seems good to me.
Yeah, I think he's a little older. I mean, I think this is a guy that's kind of been around. But he can contribute, man. Yeah, I'm just excited about it. And I'm excited to see, again, how well they're playing. I mean, so going off their last 6, like I said, they've won 6 in a row. They scored 6 in order here. They scored 6 goals in their last game, 6 the one before that, 6 the one before that, 4, 5, and 4. So, like, I mean, they're popping goals left and right. Which, again, rules state that in order to win the game, you have to score more goals than the other team. So
that's it.
They're doing that. They're doing that. I mean, they beat Vegas. They beat Seattle. They beat Carolina. I mean, it's not like they're going through like these chumps. I mean, they're playing teams that are really good. So
let's see.
So yes, Mike, I am excited.
Good. I'm glad you're excited. That makes me happy. It does. I'm trying to find something for some stats here. I always like to ask you some stuff just to throw you off.
Oh boy, yeah, and you sure do when you ask me hockey stats.
So has he been hurt a lot this year? He only has 11 goals. That's
yeah, I don't know how much he was playing. Right? You know what I mean? Like I don't know how much he was actually playing, and I don't know if he was hurt. To be honest,
let's see, he has 11 goals. He's played. I can tell you. He's played 41 games. So most of the games. They don't play whole games in hockey, right? Like,
well, yeah, but if you get on the ice, it's counted as a game played. So right, he must have been hurt for 10 games or so, something like that.
So he's that, and just to put it in, now he's balling for you guys, so that's good. But to put it in perspective, Connor McDavid has 42 goals for Edmonton.
Well, yeah, but he's probably the leading goal scorer in the whole league, right?
He is. He is. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll keep going. Maybe he can. He's going to need to do something. Who else do the Rangers have that are good?
Adam Fox. Well, I mean, their goalie. Zibanejad. Mika Zibanejad is one of their best players. Their goalie, Shesterkin. How do you say his name?
Number one goal scorer.
Yeah, Z. So, like, you'll hear everybody, like, refers to him as just Z, Zibanejad. But,
that's good. Z.
Yeah, Z. It's easy. It's easier to say than Zibanejad, which I think I've said correctly every time I've said it. So,
yeah,
maybe we don't need to say Z anymore. Or maybe I don't.
I'm going to call him Z.
Yeah, but Panarin's really good. Scheidel. It's Cheadle, Chytil, but I always say Scheidel because I don't know why. But it is Cheadle. That's how you pronounce it. But yeah, I mean, they've got a solid crew, man. And yeah,
nice.
I'm excited about Tarasenko. So yeah, this went from NHL review to New York Rangers review.
I'm good with that. I mean,
yeah, man. So what else do you have for the NHL? Anything you want to?
No, man. I never have anything for that. I rely on you for this one.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you right now, the Rangers are contenders. So keep that in your back pocket.
I just wrote it.
All right.
I wrote it down on my desk.
Yep. February 17th, 2023. Curtis said Rangers are contenders.
Rangers are contenders.
Yep.
Got it.
All right. Cool. You want to do a little factor cap?
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. Fact or cap? All right, folks, this is Fact or Cap. It's where I ask Mike 2 questions, he asks me 2 questions, and we decide if they are true or false. But because it's 2023 and we try to keep up with current trends, we call it Fact or Cap. Cap meaning false. So, Mike, what's your first question, buddy?
All right, I got one. So, for MLB, do you think this is the year that the Padres win the West?
No, I'm saying Dodgers win the West, and I'll probably say that every year. But yeah, I don't think San Diego does it. Yeah, it's a cap. It's a cap for me. All right, for you, this is something we don't talk a lot about, but we're gonna bring it up today. In the PGA, we have the Genesis Open going on. My factor cap to you is: will Tiger Woods make the cut?
Listen to me, dude. You're not going to believe this, but my second factor cap question was Tiger Woods for you.
Is it, will he make the cut at this?
No, it was, will Tiger Woods finish in the top 25?
Okay. I do not think he'll finish in the top 25, but he will make the cut today.
Yes. So I think fact he'll make the cut.
Okay.
And then you just answered my second one. He will not finish in the top 25.
That's hilarious. So that means I got to ask you now my second one.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. I don't have a second one for you, so I got to come up with something. Let's see. Oh, okay. I got one. Jacob deGrom was already,
Yes.
quote unquote hurt, right?
Yep.
Will he get 30 starts this year? Which, again, if you don't know what we're talking about, a starter should get a healthy starter all year will get 30 starts.
I'll say cap. I say he'll get 25.
Yeah, I don't know how many he's going to get, but it's almost a guaranteed IL stint for this guy at some point.
Under 30 for sure.
Under 30? Yeah. All right.
Yep.
All right. So that's it.
Good deal.
That's our show. Episode 17 is done.
That was the fastest hour and 14 minutes ever.
Yeah. So thank you all for listening. Again, you can follow us on Twitter at 772sports. Most of you guys know Mike and myself personally. So if you have anything you want us to talk about on the next podcast, or you have any questions or content, you want to be a guest, whatever, hit us up. Let us know.
We welcome guests on the pod.
For sure. For sure. All right. Well, until next week, thank you all for listening. And Mike, thanks for joining.
Yes, sir. We'll talk soon, man.
All right.
All right. Peace.